We are kicking things off with Cody Rhodes today. The American Nightmare has been away from WWE while filming Street Fighter in Australia, but Triple H confirmed his return during an appearance on the Pat McAfee show. I'll give you a spoiler right now, Cody will be back, Indianapolis, for WrestlePalooza. That confirmation puts Rhodes right back into the spotlight ahead of the September 20th premium live event. His rivalry with Drew McIntyre had been on hold ever since McIntyre took him out on SmackDown last month. In the meantime, McIntyre turned his attention toward Randy Orton, but that story is expected to wrap up this Friday, leaving the stage clear for Cody to reinsert himself into the feud just in time for WrestlePalooza. Triple H didn't stop there. He also addressed the Women's World title picture, declaring that Io Sky vs. Stephanie Vaquer is officially happening. But when pressed on whether the contract had actually been signed on Raw, the segment WWE had promoted but never aired, the game sidestepped the question with a smirk. To be honest, I wasn't there last night. I haven't had the chance to watch the show yet because I was at Kill Tony. That lighthearted deflection only fueled speculation. The contract signing was missing from Raw, and Vaquer has been absent from the show for 2 straight weeks without explanation. Talent and fans alike have been left wondering what's going on behind the scenes. Thankfully, her return finally came on NXT, where she interrupted JC Jane mid-promo to remind everyone that she was a double champion. But the question remains, why pull her from Raw for 2 weeks in a row, only to place her back on NXT? Reports have suggested that Vaquer was simply on leave. If that's true, WWE could have easily taped segments to maintain her presence on television. Instead, her absence created unnecessary speculation, with dirt sheets even pushing rumors about a possible pregnancy and a planned squash finish at WrestlePalooza. We want to be clear, these claims are unverified and should be treated as a rumor, not fact. What we do know is that Stephanie Vaquer is back on screen, and the title match with Io Sky is still set for WrestlePalooza. The only real question is, who do you see walking out as Women's World Champion, and why? Bryan Danielson just gave AEW a major nod, crediting the promotion for helping turn Cody Rhodes into one of WWE's top stars. In a recent interview with the Kairos brothers, Danielson reflected on AEW's overall impact on the wrestling business and specifically pointed to how the company's existence shaped the rise of talent like Cody and even brought back CM Punk. If AEW wouldn't have started, would Cody Rhodes be where he is right now? No, they have a megastar because AEW exists. Would CM Punk ever have come back? Probably not. Danielson's point isn't about taking credit away from Cody, it's about recognizing how the competition between promotions has forced both sides to elevate. AEW gave talent new opportunities, new platforms, and new leverage, and Rhodes capitalized in a way few others could. AEW launched in 2019 with Cody Rhodes as one of its executive vice presidents. Cody helped build the brand before departing in 2022, returning to WWE and eventually headlining WrestleMania. But according to Danielson, none of that would have been possible if AEW hadn't been created in the first place. It's good for the wrestlers both in AEW and in WWE. It's good for them. Whether you're a Cody fan or not, Danielson is reminding the world just how important AEW has been for reshaping wrestling's power structure, even for WWE's biggest stars. Do you agree with Danielson that AEW made Cody Rhodes a bigger star? Please share your thoughts and feedback in the comments section below. During the same interview, the AEW star was also asked about WWE scheduling premium live events against AEW shows like All In, Double or Nothing, and Forbidden Door. While the timing has raised eyebrows among fans, Danielson doesn't believe it's driven by fear. He said, "I'm just curious, what the people who are making these decisions, what they're thinking, right? In the sense of oh, okay, this AEW thing, it's a real danger to our billion-dollar business. That can't be it." Danielson doesn't believe AEW is on WWE's level financially yet, but he does think WWE's corporate mindset may be rooted in power and control more than actual competition. It's interesting because we're not at a point of being a threat. It's one of the things that people who really crave power and a lot of money play these weird games that I don't understand. He added that he respects many of the people at WWE and doesn't see this as a personal attack. Still, he's curious about the bigger reasoning. I'd be interested to know, okay, what's the decision-making process in this? As WWE continues to stack PLEs against major AEW dates, including the upcoming WrestlePalooza airing the same night as All Out, Danielson's comments add an insider perspective that raises some big questions. We first reported yesterday that AAA's Worlds Collide card could be in jeopardy following a frightening moment in Mexico. The incident took place at the Show Center complex in San Pedro Garcia, where Octagón Jr. teamed with Los Garza and Laredo Kid in a triple threat tag title match. During the finish, Pagano hit a guillotine from the top rope that came down hard on Octagón's head, leaving him motionless. Referees quickly threw up the X sign as he was unable to leave the ring on his own. The scare immediately raised questions about whether Octagón Jr. would be cleared to compete at Worlds Collide, with concussion concerns dominating fan discussion. Now, less than 24 hours later, his status has been clarified. Dr. Odiseo addressed the situation on Instagram, posting a video where he confirmed that Octagón Jr. is completely fine and cleared to wrestle at the upcoming event. When one fan asked directly if Octagón would be at Worlds Collide, the doctor simply replied, yes. That confirmation means Octagón Jr. will move forward with his scheduled appearance in Las Vegas, teaming with La Parca, Mascarita Sagrada, and Nino Hamburguesa in an 8-man lucha showcase against Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, Lince Dorado, and Mini Abismo Negro. A potential crisis has been averted, and the showcase match remains intact, but the incident serves as a reminder of how quickly plans can shift in the world of wrestling, especially just days before a major cross-promotional event. Do you think this lucha showcase could end up stealing the show at Worlds Collide? Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. Rusev's AEW run started with plenty of buzz, but his journey didn't quite match the initial expectations. When he arrived in 2020, many fans believed he was destined to become a cornerstone star. He eventually found his footing as TNT champion, showcasing flashes of the dominant force WWE once teased, but after dropping the title to Sammy Guevara, his momentum stalled. Sporadic matches and a second injury in 2023 kept him out of action, with his final AEW appearance coming at World's End in December of that year. From there, his absence became twofold. First injuries, then creative having nothing for him. Reports suggested Rusev eventually asked for his release, and after months of silence, he finally opened up about the decision. Speaking with Denise Salcido of Instinct Culture, he made it clear that walking away was about proving something to himself. I learned that I'm the best in the world. I beat up quite a few people and gained my confidence way more than I had before in WWE. What I've been taught by John Cena, by Big Show, by all these great, amazing superstars that I fought in WWE, I had to put to the test when I was in AEW. I had to use everything I've learned. After that, after I experimented, after I saw that I'm the best one out there, I thought it was time to come back, no doubt, because I still have the goal to be a World Heavyweight Champion here in WWE. It's no secret that Rusev wasn't happy with his AEW booking, but he admitted that a WWE return wasn't even on his radar at first. Over time, though, the idea began to take hold. It was something out of my mind at first and then slowly started to creep in, and then things happened, and here I am. He also cautioned fans not to expect the exact same performer they remember from his first WWE run. His years in AEW, for better or worse, forced him to mature and rely on himself in ways WWE's structured environment never required. That growth is what he now brings back with him. While he didn't dive deeper into the more mysterious parts of his AEW exit, such as why he remained off TV for over a year before his release, those questions still linger. For now, though, Rusev is already making waves again, with his win over Sheamus at Clash in Paris serving as a potential springboard towards something bigger. Could this be the start of Rusev's long-awaited world title run in WWE, or will history repeat itself with missed opportunities? Wardlow just can't seem to escape bad luck. After being off AEW television for more than a year, the powerhouse finally made his long-awaited return, only to suffer an injury that could sideline him once again. According to Fightful Select, AEW sources believe Wardlow may have sustained a torn pectoral muscle during or shortly after his comeback angle. If confirmed, the injury could keep him out of action for as long as 8 months, possibly longer. What makes it worse is how it happened. The injury reportedly occurred during a routine lariat spot with Stokely Hathaway. Wardlow had been medically cleared for months, but AEW delayed his return until he finished filming the first 2 seasons of American Gladiators. His comeback was meant to kick off a fresh run, but now it may be on hold again, though there's still a chance he could appear on TV in a limited capacity. The AEW locker room was reportedly devastated by the news, aware of the immense effort Wardlow put into rehab and preparing for his return. For a star whose career has already been marked by stop-start momentum, this latest setback is another harsh blow for both him and his fans. How do you think AEW should handle Wardlow during recovery? Keep him visible on TV as an enforcer, or let him step away completely until he's 100%? NXT news now, as the developmental brand opened with Javon Evans walking through the crowd to the ring and calling out Josh Briggs, who did not waste any time coming out to respond. Evans leapt out of the ring onto him to kickstart a brawl. Much like last week, the crowd was unforgiving toward Josh Briggs, raining down chants of Briggs use and go away. They battled through a break into the next segment. Both men got in some big moves, but it was Briggs who got the win when he countered Evans coming off the top rope with a huge shot to the head with a chain wrapped around his hand. The bigger question is whether this really counts as cheating, since the chain was originally around Briggs' neck and the referee never made him remove it. This match started out hot and never lost momentum. Evans is one of the most exciting young talents in NXT, and Briggs has grown into a versatile and reliable worker who can play a base for a high flyer like the young OG. This was a great match that helped get the crowd into the right mindset. Elsewhere on the show, there was a triple threat #1 contenders elimination match as the Culling faced Fatal Influence and the team of Ruca and Zaria. One member of each team was legal at all times, which led to the match having a chaotic feel, and the referee let a lot slide throughout in an effort to keep the match flowing smoothly. Nico Vance and Shawn Spears both got taken out by the 4 women who were not in the Culling, as they got sick of their presence at ringside. Meanwhile, after the break, it was Izzy Dame, Fallon Henley, and Ruca struggling to get to their feet, while Ruca accidentally hit her finisher on Zaria, which saw them be eliminated. Ruca was also given a big spot as she hit the Soul Snatcher on Zaria, which was a huge deal as the camera lingered on the crowd as everyone took it in. The match had a lot going on, but it wasn't hard to follow as the women involved did a great job of telling the story. Ultimately, it boiled down to Dame getting the win by pinning Henley. After the match, JC Jane took the microphone and criticized her teammates for losing, but she was then interrupted by shots of someone arriving in the parking lot. She continued to rant on the microphone, claiming to be the greatest NXT Women's Champion ever, when Stephanie Vaquer appeared and reminded Jane that she was a double champion before. The star power continued as Tiffany, Stratton, and Rhea Ripley joined Vaquer, which clearly was setting up a huge 6-woman tag team match for Homecoming, with the babyfaces driving Fatal Influence out of the ring. WWE brought back a classic match stipulation this week in the form of a flag match as Ethan Page and Tavion Heights competed against each other. All Ego attempted to resolve the match immediately by going for the flag before the bell even rang, but Heights immediately stopped that, then attacking him and focusing on punishing Page. Page rallied back and even dragged Tavion toward the American flag, which was a risky move considering the stipulation. Heights almost got the win at this point, but Page pulled him by his hair to stop it. The stipulation allowed both men to feel unique in comparison to a traditional singles bout, and both men worked hard to invest in it, which led to fans doing the same. This included Page taking a nasty bump outside of the ring as he landed on the back of his head and neck, which was a painful-looking spot. Heights ultimately got the win by securing the flag, although unfortunately for him, the North American Championship wasn't on the line. After the match, fans were treated to a huge surprise as Tyler Breeze returned to NXT, who posed with his selfie stick next to Page's unconscious body. Given that the Homecoming show is taking place next week, it seems that there's a possible showdown set to take place with Ethan Page, which would be a massive moment. Breeze works backstage for WWE nowadays, so a full-time comeback isn't likely, but having him be part of Homecoming makes sense given his history with the brand. Main roster stars DIY were back in NXT this week as they pointed out that the 10-year anniversary of them as a tag team is approaching. But their promo was interrupted by Trick Williams and a returning Carmelo Hayes. The former NXT champion has been away from NXT for a year and a half, but immediately came across as a bigger star than he does on SmackDown, as the NXT audience remembered how good he was on the show. He and Williams haven't crossed paths since Hayes left NXT, and Melo made it clear that he felt Williams had been squatting in the house that he and DIY built. Trick admitted that he shouldn't have trash-talked Melo as it was still his house, but when Ciampa tried to make a joke, it didn't land well, so DIY issued a tag team challenge for the Homecoming show. However, this segment ended before a response was provided, which left things feeling slightly rushed. Now, the real question is whether Hayes and Williams can actually coexist together. More on NXT as the Grayson Waller effect was confirmed for Homecoming, with Oba Femi and Ricky Starks set to be the guests in a build-up to their NXT Championship match at No Mercy. There were other surprises hyped for Homecoming as a video package highlighted the Street Profits, William Regal, Finn Balor, and most notably Bianca Belair, who was featured prominently. It's a huge deal to have Belair's big return happening on NXT, as that moment could easily be saved for SmackDown, but instead it's set for Homecoming. What do you think? Will Bianca Belair return on NXT this week, or will WWE hold her comeback for SmackDown? The Speed Tournament continued this week as AAA's Faby Apache competed against Lainey Reid, with both women giving backstage promos ahead of it to hype up the match. They wasted no time with the match, which was expected given the 3-minute stipulation. Therefore, the pace never dropped from start to finish as they tried to make the most of the time they had. Apache pushed for a high-risk dive but failed to connect, and that allowed Reid to capitalize and pick up a win with just seconds left on the clock. The 3 minutes don't leave much room for storytelling within the match, but they managed to make each move count as they pushed each other and fans got involved. It was a solid effort, and even Natalya was shown watching on from the crowd as she seemed impressed with the efforts that were taking place. The victory means that Reid will now move forward to face Candice LeRae in the final. The winner will receive a title shot against Ruca, with the match scheduled to take place at the Homecoming event. This week also featured a significant NXT Tag Team Championship match as Hank and Tank challenged Dark State's Osiris Griffin and Dion Lennox in a bid to regain their gold. The challengers impressed at the start by taking out Lennox on the apron, as Griffin was then wiped out with a double team, but it wasn't enough to get them the victory. Dark State were in control as the match returned after the break, but the match remained competitive as both teams began to go back and forth. It was brilliant to see the energy between the teams, even though what was happening inside the ring was quite basic. However, they managed to draw the fans in with their emotions and storytelling. Lennox made the mistake of saying Joe Hendry's name, which led to the TNA star bursting through a wall to chase him, but during that distraction, Hank and Tank lost to a roll-up in what proved to be a strange finish to such a big title match. Blake Monroe caught everyone's attention this week as she ditched the Barbie-style character fans have come to know in a bid to showcase a darker, edgier side to herself. The change was evident in a video package that showcased Monroe's new attitude, with her persona now more in line with her Mariah May run in AEW, as she sent a message to Jordynne Grace. "You didn't humble me, you didn't break me, you awakened me," Monroe stated. "I'm gonna show you why Blake Monroe can make even the devil blush. See you in hell, JG." This darker edge for Monroe showcases how far the feud against Grace has pushed her, with this shift having begun when she attacked Grace last week, calling herself the Woman from Hell. It's been a rivalry that's been ongoing for a while, with Monroe suffering her first loss due to a distraction from Grace, which has only intensified the situation. What do you expect to see next between Monroe and Grace, and did you enjoy the darker personality that Monroe displayed? Let us know in the comments section below. Last week, fans saw the return of NXT Anonymous on Twitter as a backstage moment between Ethan Page and Myles Borne was captured, and the tease was paid off this time around. Borne attacked Lexis King from behind, and during the assault, the lights were cut, and when they came back on, King was down and out. It continued the rivalry between them after King had been mocking Borne for being deaf lately, and a match is obviously being lined up between them. How was NXT this week, and which feud do you think was the best part of the show? Let us know in the comments section. While there are many old school faces set to appear at Homecoming, there's the possibility of new WWE superstars appearing soon in the form of Vincent and Dutch, who are formerly known as The Righteous. The duo were granted their release from AEW earlier this year after requesting it, and now Vincent dropped a tease on Twitter by saying, "You are all the best, I am righteous, for we are many." Dutch then shared a photo of them together by saying, "Smile, not to welcome, smile to warn." That was followed by him saying, "The Righteous are coming," which some fans believe could be a tease for a WWE debut. The timing is interesting as Karrion Kross recently revealed that WWE had plans for him and The Righteous as a spin-off group tied to Bray Wyatt, and now could be the time when The Righteous make their presence known. WWE recently garnered significant attention by showcasing the behind-the-scenes world of the company through the WWE Unreal series on Netflix, which generated considerable interest, both positive and negative. Some fans loved getting a peek behind the curtains, while others have complained that it showed too much of the business, and now Triple H has weighed in on the debate. He appeared on the Pat McAfee show to address the backlash about the show, and he called out fans and podcasters for being hypocritical due to how they thrive on sharing backstage stories. It's funny that the internet is all complaining that we're lifting the curtain and showing you stuff. Meanwhile, they're doing a podcast that all it does is talk about the behind-the-scenes shit that's going on. I don't understand the logic. He also pointed out that inside knowledge is now readily accessible, therefore it made no sense for them to pretend that kayfabe can still exist in this vacuum any longer. The world knows. An 8-year-old kid picks up his iPhone, Googles stuff, and it tells them all the behind-the-scenes stuff right there. Dirty Sheets Wrestling and former host Billy Body had ripped into Unreal for staging segments and making predetermined creative decisions to shape the show in a certain way. He accused WWE of faking a debate about the WrestleMania Triple Threat 2, despite already knowing the finish. There was no real discussion about who was going to win. I saw all the writers sitting around the room discussing who was going to win that match after it was already booked. I knew the whole show was pretty much staged. Body also went on to claim that Seth Rollins was always intended to be the winner so that a new faction with Paul Heyman could be formed, and he felt the scene was misleading the fans. He also questioned how the Royal Rumble was booked on the show, claiming it was all manufactured for entertainment on Unreal. The premise is real, but the scenes they've chosen to give you are not real. However, Triple H didn't seem to be bothered by any of these comments, and instead he feels that WWE is giving fans a polished, clean version of what fans claim they want to see, which is behind-the-scenes content. Unreal isn't going away anytime soon though, and now that Triple H has made his stand, it's clear that WWE views it as a positive product and something they're happy to release to Netflix. Do you think Triple H has a point, or are WWE fans right to call out the staged scenes in Unreal? Please share your thoughts and feedback in the comments section below.